Hello, we're very happy to be here with Jody Miller. We're in Santa Barbara. Jody Miller is the CEO of C2C Strategic Consulting and Executive Search, and she also writes books about happiness at work. And of course, we'd like to ask her a couple of questions on that.
Thank you.
Hi, Jody.
Hi,
Great.
thank you so much.
Did you take some time for us to answer these questions?
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
I'm very curious. How did you end up in the area of happiness at work?
Well, I've been helping people find their dream job for many, many years, whether they've gone to Harvard or whether they've just graduated from college. And what I found along the way in helping them find their dream job is that a lot of people weren't happy. And I started writing technical books about finding your dream job, one book called Hired. But I realized that didn't get into the soul of what really mattered to people. And I want people to know that they matter and they should find work that matters. And so I wrote a book about happiness at work called From Drift to Shift that just came out yesterday. Yeah, and it follows the stories of 8 people who've gone through major shifts to find what they're meant to do in life. And so the writing, the helping people find their dream jobs, and also going into corporations and developing employee engagement cultures that help them retain employees has just gotten me into this field, and it's really what I love.
Yeah, I can see that. Great.
I do.
And it's good to know that the book is also available, yes, on Amazon.com, but for the
Pretty
people
much
in the
any
Netherlands, it's also available in the Netherlands.
Yes.
So check it out. Happiness at work. A lot of people want to be happier at work.
Yes.
Can you share something with those people? What can they do, or what should they stop doing?
Sure. I'll give you a couple just easy, quick tips that
please
people
do.
can start today. So let's say you're on your way to work and you're already thinking of your to-do list, and because of technology you already are way behind.
Yeah.
Because while you were sleeping, your boss probably had 10
Oh, yes.
more emails you had to answer. So you just need to breathe and say this is all okay, and start to talk to yourself a little bit more softly, a little bit more positively. It doesn't have to be radical. You can just breathe and say, I think today's going to be a good day. In fact, what I'm going to do today is look for one good thing today.
Okay.
So when you walk into that office, and you're just going to be looking throughout your day for one good thing, and all of a sudden you're more at ease, and that shows, and you're giving out a more positive, comfortable vibe, and good things will start to happen. And I bet you notice more than one good thing that day.
Oh, I'm sure. And very practical, very easy to
Very
apply.
easy. And then when you're in the office, if there's a particular person, a colleague, maybe it's your boss, often it's your boss, that you might be having some struggles with.
Yeah.
One thing I've told many thousands of job seekers is go have a conversation with that person, especially if it's your boss and you're frustrated. But the key is don't go in with your frustrations.
Uh-huh.
Have it just be an open conversation, kind of like a visit with a friend, and find out more about what they're about, because more often than not, when I tell people to do this, they leave with a friend and a mentor, and it ends up being a great thing, and then they're happier in their current position because they feel like they have an ally.
Sounds good. Also, very great trip. Might be difficult for some people to leave their frustrations.
Yes.
But I assume, or I can imagine, that is the most important thing with this. Otherwise, you end up in a fight.
Yes.
That's not what you want.
And that's not what you want.
No.
I mean, then you're going to just quit, and that's...
And that's it. I haven't solved anything.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, and the last thing I want to say is that the 3 things that the messages I like to tell are that you matter. You matter. Don't think you don't. And your voice matters, and you have unique contributions to offer. Everyone does. And that happiness is what we're all after. So that is, it's okay if you're frustrated, but happiness is what we all want. So know that we're all sort of the same.
Yeah.
And don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay.
Because we quite often are.
So often are.
Yeah.
And if
There's
you're in
this criticizing voice in our head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Try and just quiet that voice a little bit, and just don't be so hard on yourself. Go for a walk. You find you're in that little hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Go for a walk. Go get a latte. Whatever makes you happy at that moment, and just shift your thinking. So,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. 3 very practical things. thank you for that. And maybe one last thing, if someone is in a bad place at work,
Yes.
you really do hate your job, do you advise people to quit, or is there one tip you
Sure.
want to give them?
If people know for sure that they're not going to stay there and they have to make a shift, and only you know, try not to listen to everyone else, only you know, there are ways you can make small steps before you're ready to make the big step. And that is, think about, I tell people to go back to your childhood of things that really gave you passion and happiness. So for example, I've always been a writer. And I didn't really realize that until a little bit later in my life, that I've always been a writer. And I pulled out a book of quotes and poems and stories I'd written since 5th grade. So I tell people, do a little bit. So maybe you just small little steps. Maybe you pick up a hobby. You've always wanted to be a painter. Maybe you take a painting class.
So it can be something outside work.
Outside work. And eventually get to the point where you might feel like you can make that shift from that job. Or what's also happened when people do that is that they realize, my job's not so bad. I'm actually finding happiness over here, and I'm not as affected by what's going on at work, and they just sort of relax a little bit.
Okay.
So
Sounds great.
another option.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for these practical tips. We can all start to apply tomorrow. And if you want to know more about Jody and her writing, you can take a look at the book From Drift to Shift, available in different places.
Thank you so much. Thank you.